Welcome back to another tutorial on a new feature in Scorebars offline. So the new feature we're going to go over today is the new thumbnail creator, where you can create thumbnails for whatever you want and save them as a PNG, JPEG, or whatever. Those options have already been added. I'm going to show you a kind of a walkthrough. I don't know if I'll actually make anything. I've already made a couple templates for people to use on launch. You can check them out in the Discord. But I'm going to walk you through some of the features. So, from the jump, you'll see the new option down here, thumbnail creator. Watch your eyes for a second, you're gonna be blinded. In the, you open your browser up because where your scoreboard is. Open up your thumbnail creator, and now you'll see your template, well, your workspace, for you to get started on what you're working on. Now, from there, when you open it up, the first thing you see is a bunch of options. So there's 4 categories of things that you can put down. You have your characters, your game background, your custom objects, and your text. All the characters that you can use, the character images you use, are all from the game assets that you've already downloaded or will download, either or. If you download one of the apps, open it, it'll update it as well. And you can also choose between the full size art of the character, or the thumbnail. Well, let me put one on for you. Bring this back over here. I'm gonna use and I can switch between the thumb, a regular version. We can change the scale. By default, it's at 50% scale of whatever the image's resolution already is. We can change the opacity. 100. You can. Most of these options are going to apply for all 4 of the elements. For the most part, you can also do rotation. You see it rotate in the back. Let me move her over. Horizontal. You also have options for the actual. So you're not locked to a specific dimension. So you can change whatever size you want your workspace to be. I have a 1080p screen, so the max I'm going to be doing is 1080 by 1080. But you can change it based on your screen or however big you want it exactly. I'm gonna keep mine at like a 720 1280, and you can change your background color to whatever you want. Go back at that. There's also a border. By default, you have the border on. You can turn it off. People like border options. Change the different styles. Make it thicker. If you're into that, Or you can turn it off. I like it to represent my workspace though, so I'll leave it on. And until I'm done anyway. And you can change the border color, of course, to whatever you like. But back to the character. So you have all these options. You can also mirror character. There's a stack level, so that's basically going to be priority level of what's on top of, or what element is on top of the other. By default, I have it from like 1 to whatever the biggest number is, but you can change it and adjust the layers however you want it. So you never like, oh man, this have to keep on going back and changing stuff because one thing has to be on top of the other, one thing has to be on top of there, under the other. But you don't need to do all that. You just change the stack level and easy peasy. You also have your blend modes. Let's see. There's a bunch of different ones. You'll notice. I mean, if you ever use Photoshop or any image editing program, you typically probably seen blend modes. You have your multiply, your screen, your overlay, lighten, darken, all that good stuff. And obviously, it's going to depend on whatever's behind it, the image that you're using. And yeah, again, most of these are going to apply to most of the elements that you can use. You can also blur it, which is a cool effect. You typically use it for backgrounds, but you can use it for characters as well. Change that brightness on them if you want to do all that. You can contrast. You can grayscale. You have hue rotate. change the colors a bit. Obviously, it depends on the image. Invert, saturate, turn all the way up, turn to 1000. I have the percentage high because I have the max percentage pretty high because you will actually get different results from there's a big difference between even 100% or 1000%. So it's obviously going to depend on the style you're going for, especially if you want like a posterized effect. You can do something like that. You have your drop shadow, which you can turn on. Oh my gosh. And you can change the positioning of that. Let's change the color so you can see it and make it red. Horizontal position. Oh, sorry, vertical position, horizontal position. You can also blur it. You can also. I have a bunch of different masks that you can use. I might add more later if I can come up with any more shapes, but let's run through some of them. You got your circle. So I have like 3 different sizes of each. You can use them depending on what you want to do. Some diamond, horizontal rectangles. Because there's a lot of nice posters people make look like nice cutouts. So something to check out. Yeah, and again, there's 3 different sizes for each of them. Triangles. Yeah. Last of that, we also have feathering, so you can have like a nice feathering is basically fading out. You can fade her out. Let's turn that on. You see immediately it's from bottom to top, and it's a linear. Oh, let me switch it. Let me show you. And it's a linear type, bottom to top, top to bottom. And you might be thinking, oh man, it's kind of taking up her whole thing there. But don't worry, you can change the points. From where the feathering starts. I gotta move this thing around a lot. You can bring it back down. You can cut it off sharp. You can adjust it to exactly how you want it. Bring it back up. And yeah, you can change top, bottom, left, right. You also have the option to do radial, so it comes out of the middle. Turn that on. You can make a nice effect with that as well. But yeah, cool option. So that's pretty much on every single element that you can use. So you have a lot to work with there. Let's go to gaming backgrounds. Add a diagram to the background. Yeah, again, by default, when you turn them on, they're usually at like 50% scale or something. So you can change it to whatever size you want. It's a Granblue background. It's at 50% scale. Let's just turn it up. It doesn't have to be all the way. So that's to fit my workspace. Or whenever I want. And you can change the positioning and all that. I like to blur my stuff, so I'm gonna blur the background. No, not too much. Maybe like 5%. So she stands out. Already looks great. Oh, it has a great effect on it. And yeah, so you have the same options here as well. And then you can change the size and move in different places and whatnot if you want to as well. For custom object, you have similar options. First thing you want to do is change the opacity to turn it on. Alright, and then you'll see the default. It's just going to be a color. It's going to be this square color for every custom object. You can change the height. So this one's not going to be based on scale. It's going to be on whatever height and width you want to make it at. Since it can be a color or an image or anything else. So you can open up the extras on this one. So you have a couple more options. You have all the ones we went over already. You have feathering. You also have, so in custom object, you can leave it as a color, or you can add an image that will scale to the dimensions, well, the width or typically or the dimensions of your object's height and width. You can also use patterns. There's the distinct difference between those two. when you use the custom image, it'll just scale to whatever the dimensions of your object is. If you use pattern, it's the image is repeated over and over, and the size is whatever the pattern is already. So if it's like this big, it's gonna stay that big. It's gonna repeat. So let me show you. Let's use a custom image. Say we want to do a chain or something. I don't like that chain. Pick another chain. Like this chain. I don't know if you can see it, so I'm going to increase it, the width. Say of my object there. You can clearly see the chain here. Let's just make it a little bigger. Let's do 1,000 by 1,000. Alright. And then let's maybe rotate it. That looks nice. Yeah. Bring it over some more. Yeah, so each thing will have, each element will have sliders, so you can just roll your mouse for precision. You can also just drag it. But if you know precision, I'm in the precision. Did I still have her mask on? Well, let me turn. I think I still have a mask on her. Cause I see her stuff's cut off. Yeah, it's just a mask on. Okay. So we got a chain, cool chain. I like it. You can also, so yeah, there's different images you can pop in. Some of them are like big image files, maybe like a couple megabytes, maybe 5 up to 15, because they're higher quality because they'll scale. That's why. But so you might see like a half a second load when I'm switching something in, but after you loaded it once, it's in memory, so it's whatever. What else? So yeah, let's show you what a pattern looks like. And it's back to color because I turned the image off. So we're gonna do a pattern, do that. And yeah, since it's pattern, I'm gonna fit it to my workspace because it's gonna look better. So 1280, no 720. Obviously, you don't have to fit it to your workspace. You can do whatever you want. But for me, because I want it to be like exactly, so I don't have to move it much. Bring it back to 0. Oh, I have to rotate it. Okay, so I have my pattern on, and yeah, you see, this whole thing isn't just one giant. It's literally like a square that just repeats, so it makes a seamless pattern. Well, with patterns, what you want to do to make your stuff cool is that's when you really want to use the blend modes. So we can turn this on. Actually, want to do one. Oh, actually, kind of cool like that. But I want the pattern in white, so I'm gonna invert it, and then I'm gonna use the blend mode, and then I think I'll move it behind the character. The change in the stack level, because she's on stack 5. She's on level 5. Bring it to 4. No, she's in front of it. And then let's say it's probably too bright. 25. Maybe I don't want it to do the whole thing, the whole image. So I could change the width again, or I'd rather just fade it out actually. I'll fade it from the bottom. Yeah, I kind of like that. There's also you can add a border. So in custom objects, you can add a border as well. I mean, I've already put a. Well, let me take the blend mode off so you can see it and bring it up some. Bring it up. So you can turn the border on. Turn the opacity back up so you can see it. This has a border. Oh, it's still inverted, so it's white. Let me uninvert it. So you can change the border to any color you want, obviously, like before. You can also change the styles, dash, dotted, and double, or just standard. So yeah, whatever you want, just like you do the workspace. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna put my settings I had back on because I like it like that. Bring it back down, 0, invert, blend mode, 25, 50. I like to see it. Okay, so that's oh, you can also change how round the edges are as well if you want to do that by changing the border radius. Round it out. It's going to depend on how big your object, your dimensions are too. So that's it for custom objects. So the next thing is the obvious text. Text is text. Let's type in CorePixels thumbnail creator or something. I don't know. Enter. You'll see it right there in the center of the screen. And just like everything else, you can. I added a lot of new fonts in this update. I'll probably add more, just so that people have more options. But I also try to make it so a lot of them don't look alike, so they're distinct. And a lot of the times I try to make it so they also have European accents and stuff. So if people want to use it for their style and their style creator and stuff, if you have a special character, it's not like a block or an empty letter. But yeah, you have a lot of options here. Text alignment. You won't notice the text alignment until you won't see text alignment unless you have a new line on your text. So, and in some instances, you might want to just make a new text element for each thing you type, or you can just use it like a paragraph box. So if you want to do a line break, you just type in 3 dashes, and then you just type your next thing. I mean, I have these notes at the bottom right there, if you can see them. Hit enter, and you'll see it broke at the line. So that's a cool thing. Let's increase the size of the text. Let's do 50. And yeah, you can change the text. I don't know. It takes me forever to choose fonts because I want something that looks just right for what I'm doing. But for this for this tutorial, I don't know. I'm still being picky. Let's just do this one. So you can also change font color, obviously. You can change letter casing, all caps, all lowercase, or regular. Change the opacity, like before. Rotation, so the same stuff. Stack level, let's open the extras. You can also get your blend mode. So this one's a little different. So it doesn't have a couple of other things that the other objects have because it doesn't really. It's text. So you don't really need it. But you do have a skew, so you can skew your text. something here, skewed either way. You have padding up and down, left and right. You might think, well, what's the point of that? Well, you probably never need to use it unless you want to make your text into like a cool little box. And in that instance, we give your drop shadow too. And in that instance, that's when you turn on background color. So we're gonna turn on background color. Let's make it black. This is where you can use the padding to to make it so your text isn't really squished up. If you want to, just gonna roll that one, probably not on the bottom, but roll it out on the left and the right. It's gonna look better with typically single lines of text. Oh yeah, but also text alignment. Remember, you can left, right, keep doing that. But you see, and this is where well, since we centered it, let's make it nice. Make it nice, dude. So you have something like that, and then you can also your text. You can add a stroke to it, which is, you probably don't want to use that in most cases, but if you have a really thick text, strokes can look good. If you have thinner text, it's just gonna make your font look ugly. So we can increase that. Well, let me turn the background off so you can see what it looks like. And if you want to just make it transparent and turn it off. So that's what a stroke looks like on text. So it comes on the inside of the actual text. So, and you can change the color of that as well if you want. You can get some other color. But text strokes are best for thick fonts. Let me show you. They don't look good on like smaller. Yeah, no good. But you have options. We're gonna just turn that off because we definitely don't need that. You also have your border size, which you'll see here, which is cool. Same stuff with the border. And yeah, border radius, round it out, make it look all nice. Like, oh, let's bring the black back, bring it up a little bit, make it half transparent. That looks good. I kind of like it in all caps though. And maybe if it's smaller size. Yeah, I like that. Let's bring the border size down. So yeah, that's how you use every single element. Now you might be thinking, I only get one of each. I can't really make much with that. No, you get more. You get a good amount more. So here on the top left, you're gonna see something that says elements list. So elements list, you see what you have allotted. So you can do 10 different characters, and here's just a note. It'll show you like what character you selected, for example, and you just turn it on. Go back over here. You turn it on, bam, pops up. So it's in your workspace. So you don't have all of them just, buried all in your workspace, even though you're not using them. So you can just turn them on and off if you want to use more stuff. Same with game backgrounds. This will also tell you what file you're using, or abbreviate it as well. Turn them on and off. Custom objects, same thing. This one has 3 different variations of what it will show you on the side. If it's color, it'll show you both colors, foreground and background. Also didn't show you. There's 2 colors for foreground and background if you want to do a gradient. I have them the same because I want a solid color, but you can do a gradient. And you can make it fade out if you want, just by changing the opacity on the slider. Yeah, here it'll show you the 2 colors if you're using a color. If you're using an image, it'll show you the name of the image. If you're using a pattern, it'll show you the name of the pattern. Just to note, so you have a snapshot of what the hell you're doing. So you don't have to scroll up and down to here like, what is this? What is it? Where did I leave this and that? Same with text. It'll show you whatever you typed here, abbreviation. And there's also something cool if you're using, it's like, if you want to copy something because you made some cool effect on it or whatever you're doing, but you don't want to select all the same parameters because it's going to take a while. You could just clone it. So we're going to clone Yule here. You can clone each one, each element to the same element. So I'm going to clone Yule here to character 2. Bam, it turns it on. It turns it on. And it's going to complete clone. So it's the exact same parameters. So it's in the same spot. You probably can't tell. But this is something, probably some cool stuff that you can do. I saw this, I saw this Paragon FGC poster. I thought it was a cool effect where it faded out. It faded out around the edges, and I'm like, huh, I could probably do that in the Scorebars creator. So I can show you how to do that. What I would do, since they're both, also you want to change the stack level, so you know which one's on top. So we're gonna keep the first one on top. She stays on top. I'm gonna bring this one down to 4, and we're gonna blur out. Let's see. On the first one, we're gonna mask her. No. We're gonna blur out. We're gonna blur her out with the radial feather. Let's see. And you can see where she cuts off. So we're gonna probably have it. Let's say 20. Say 30. And then we're gonna blur the second version of her here, so it looks like, well, maybe not that much. Maybe like, that's good. So it looks like, you know, she just fades out all the way from the center. And you also want to change her fade a bit. So yeah, we have that. And that's our cool effect. I'm gonna bring that back down. So yeah, it's like she's faded out. Maybe I can, maybe a little too faded on that, dude. Bring it back up. Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah, so let's achieve that cool effect there. And then, yeah, you can just stick whatever you want, wherever. Yeah, and that's all the elements that you can use, and that's cloning as well. So from here, you got your recipe to do pretty much whatever the heck you want. And when it's all done, you want to save it. Save it as, type it, let's say, Yule template. Save it. It'll let you know it's saved. From there, you can take your screenshot of it. It's gonna save it in. It's gonna save it the whole thing, and it's gonna save it with like how many elements you use on the bottom, which I think is a cool little stat. And you'll find it in the same. You'll find it in the same folder as the template itself, which is in your resources. You will have, it'll be in user content, and obviously the new folder was created for this. It will be automatically created in this update called template creator. I mean, thumbnail creator. And it'll be in templates, and here's the one I just made, CRPX Yule template. So you have your preview image, which is, let me drag this back over here. Exactly what you just made. It's amazing, right? Yeah, on the bottom, it'll show you the name of it, the resolution of it, how many elements you used in it, and the creator of it, which I think is cool. You know, so it's created with Scorebars. Then you have the one without that if you want to use that to upload. But if you upload templates to the Discord or sharing whatever, you know, include your screenshot. So if I add them to, so if people use them, I can add them to the CorePixels site as a preview. If you want, either way, it installs, and you're fine. And that's all you need to know for that. There's also, yeah, so you saved it, you're done. If you want to share it, you're like, oh, I made something amazing, I made this amazing template. You can share it with everybody else too, and drop it in the Discord. People, because you know, people see other people stream, they're like, well, that's an amazing, you know, thing you got there. You know, could you share it? And instead of pulling out some PSD that some people don't have Photoshop, and some people don't know how to use Photoshop. This is like, so you know, you could. This is easy. So what you want to do is you want to export it. If you want to share it with people, you want to come down here and export it. Export template. You're gonna open back up your folder here. So we're gonna go back to user content, and it'll be in your exports, and it'll be called thumbnail template. You'll have the same exact files in it. Have the same exact files in it that was in the actual folder. But also, so in the case that you made a template and people are like, I can't use it because it doesn't come with all the images you use. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to ever worry about that, because all the images that you use in your project and your template are included with the template that you export. So people don't have to worry about that. So for example, it exported the Grand Blue background, it exported Yule the character, and it exported the images, and this is the template. It exported the template and the crosses and such. So you don't have to worry about that. Everything is good to go for when people load it up. And speaking of which, if you wanted to load one up, you'd put it in, you drop in thumbnail creator and templates, or export it there. Well, you do, but I'm also in this update. There's also an add-on installer, so you don't have to worry about that. Maybe I'll go over that in another video. But you'll find it here in your list of templates. And if you say, obviously you're gonna want to edit somebody's if they made it and turn it to your own. So, but you'll find it here if you have it in the right folder location there. So let's load up one of my other ones that I made. Load up CorePixels template number 1. We're gonna hit edit, and then bam, it's loaded up. And I have this one at like a 1080p resolution, so it takes up the little screen. That's cool, right? And then from there, you just do what you're already doing. You can adjust stuff, change characters. Let's change Elfeld here. I mean, she's cool or whatever, but how about that? How about Azrael? Azrael is the man, bro. The GOAT. Yeah, and then you can save it. You made it your own, and that's that. And that's that is everything that you can do in the thumbnail creator. There are some notes on the bottom if you need those as well. But yeah, that's everything. I'll have each of the templates that I've made in the Discord for you to download and start with, like this one. This is the second one. You can also just start from scratch if you want. This is the third one, and I made a fourth one as well. You can also start from scratch, and you can bring in your own. You can bring in your own custom images. You just put them. You would put them in. Yeah. So I have the pack. There's gonna be a pack that's included, and you can install it or whatever. But if you want your own images to use, obviously you're gonna maybe have a bunch of patterns of your own, or some background or some image that you want to use. You don't have to rely on mine or anything like that. You just drop them in the images folder and you'd be done. It just as long as it's JPEG, PNG, or GIF, you're good, gravy. And remember what I told you about the patterns. You can put them in the patterns too, but remember how they scale differently. They're meant for seamless patterns for the most part. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this. Oh man, your eyes, right? Let me turn that back on. This update. And if you have any questions, I'm in the Discord. I always typically reply back as soon as possible, unless I'm at work or something. But yeah, have fun.